Hello and welcome. It's been a while since I've done a video. I'm sorry about that. Life has just been really crazy. I signed up to do a lot of craft shows and they were really successful, which is a good thing, but it just took up a lot of my time. And, you know, I have a toddler, so, you know, obviously that has to come first. But I'm hoping to get back in the swing of things now that craft season or craft show season is over, and hopefully life should be a little simpler in the new year. So I'm going to get started with this today. This is the new Hero Arts kit for the month of December. I actually really like it, and I'm not in love with the idea of fairies, but I think this is really sweet, and it's something I don't have in my collection, so this should be a lot of fun to play with. As always, I don't have a plan, so let's just jump in, get started, and see what we come up with. Okay, to start off, I have a panel cut to 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. I pulled out the 2 dandelion stamps. I don't know why, but these were very intriguing to me. Thought they were kind of neat. And I'm hoping to stamp a field of flowers along the bottom of this. I was going to use my mini Misty, but I actually think this might be easier on a block. And I'm going to bend the stem so it looks like they're different flowers over and over again. And I pulled out some Gina K inks. I'm going to start with pink, which is called Passionate Pink. These are fairly new to me. But I wanted to expand some of the colors I had in my stash, and I didn't want to store full-size pads, so I thought these were a good option. Actually, I'm going to stamp this off first. This is a new stamp. Alright, it looks pretty good. Didn't want to fail right out of the gate. Alright. So let's do pink. So I'm going to do pink. I'm tempted to do another light pink in the background. I'm not re-inking, I'm just going to stamp off. Yeah, that's alright. I'm okay with that. So now I'm going to change the way the stamp is bent so I can get a different look. Try to go for more straight up. And I'm going to use red next, so I'm not too worried about contamination of color. Take the red. And I think again I'm going to put another, like, stamp off each color at the bottom here. And so there we go. So the next color is orange. I'm going to have my stem. Actually, I'm going to use the other dandelion just to switch it up. Okay. Alright, now I'm going to go back to the other stamp and do yellow. And I'm going to make sure I wipe this off pretty good so I don't contaminate it. So now I'm doing yellow, which is called Wild Dandelion. Perfect for this stamp, obviously. And let's see, I'm going to go a little lower here. And I'm still going to pop in that extra stamp down below. Let's see, so now we're at green. Trying to figure out which way I want my stamp to kind of go. We're going to do another taller one. I think that's okay. So, oops, this was brand so new it hasn't even been opened yet. This one's called Grass Green. And okay. And now we're going to go to the blue. Alright, I'm going to the other dandelion. We're going to do purple. Now this one's called Wild Lilac. I'm going to have this one stand a little taller. Okay. I'm going to go see if I can find a slightly lighter purple in my stash to finish off the edge of this card so we can keep our rainbow going. All right, I was able to find one called Lovely Lavender. So let's ink this up. This is going to be a really nice light purple to round off the edge of this card. So here we go. Oh, it's kind of neat. I didn't clean it very well, and it has a little bit, I don't even know if the camera will pick that up, just a hint of blue in it, but you know what? I'm okay with that. Very cool. I'm going to ink this up real lightly. My second impression didn't come out very well, and I do want to just fill up this white space a little bit, so just kind of cheating a little bit. Added that. So there we go, we have our bottom stamped. Now I'm going to put this in my mini Misty, and we're going to pick out a sentiment for this card. Okay, so I selected my sentiment and I have it on the door of my Misty, and I'm inking it up with, this is My Favorite Things ink. It's the ink that's supposed to go with Copics. I haven't really tried that yet. Again, this is fairly new to me, but we're going to try it on the sentiment and see if it's as nice as like stamping with VersaFine. It's better than Memento, let's put it that way. I don't think it's as nice as VersaFine. But now I can stamp it twice though, so it's pretty good. So it says, may all of your wishes come true. And put this back on the sheet. And I pulled off a few of these seeds that are kind of blowing in the wind. And we're going to ink them up as well. So now that I know where my sentiment is, I can start adding these. And I think there are 3 of them in this set. Yes. So 3 is a good round number. Kind of make it look like they're blowing over the sentiment a little bit. Now the question is, what color are we going to do these in? I think for sure I'm going to do this one here over orange because it's over the orange flower. Let's do that one first. Okay, so we can put this back. And then let's see. This one here I'm going to do in the lilac. Even though it's over the lavender, I like that bright purple to stand out. What do we want to do here? Green or blue? I'm going to go with green. So there we go. We have 3 seeds blowing in the wind now. And I did decide I'm going to cut my panel down, so I'm going to cut a little bit probably off the top and off this side here. Okay, so I've mounted it to a top folding note card. I popped it up with a little bit of fun foam just to give it a little dimension because it's such a simple card. And I added a little rhinestone to the center of each of the flowers just to add a tiny bit of sparkle to the card. But there you go, we have card number 1, a very simple, easy card. Alright, for card number 2, I pulled out an embossing folder from my stash. Oh my gosh, this thing is like ancient. It's from Cuttlebug. I'm not 100% sure the name, but it has dandelions on it. So I went ahead and embossed a piece of craft cardstock that is 5 by 3 3/4. And I'm going to put this inside the mini Misty. And I'm going to add my sentiment, and I picked the one that says no wish is too big or too small. Just trying to make sure that's straight. And I'm going to use the My Favorite Things ink again. See how we're testing these out today, see how they go. Okay, I'm definitely going to stamp it again. So at least right away I've noticed that it's better than stamping with Memento, but it's still not as nice as stamping with VersaFine. Alright, so now that we have our sentiment on there, I'm going to put that away. And I had this idea for this little ladybug to be crawling on the stem of this dandelion. I'm not sure though that I want the little seed that he's carrying. And forgive me because I want to make sure his legs are really on that stem. So really, I don't want him floating because that'll be weird. So what I'm going to try to do, and then maybe I'll see if I can, I just want to ink up the ladybug. So I'm being very careful only to put ink on where the ladybug is. Alright, let's see how this goes. Wish me luck. Ha ha ha. Oh, cute. I like it. Alright, I'm going to stamp them one more time, so I'm inking them up again. You could get tape out and mask this, and I'm too lazy. So there we go. So now we have our cute little ladybug. So we can put him back. Okay. So try to zoom in as much as I can without getting too crazy. So I just pulled out a red pencil. It doesn't have to be anything fancy, but I love the way pencils look on craft paper. Just adding some red to his shell. And I'm trying not to hit any of the black spots. Colored pencil tends to dull the ink underneath. So I didn't want to lose the spots that are on his back. And actually I can show you a way to deepen those up too. We could do that. But there we go. So now we have a little red ladybug. I'm pretty sure, I should Google a picture of a ladybug. I think his face is black with like a white spot maybe. Alright, I might consult Google, see what color a ladybug's face is. If you don't have one of these in your stash, these things are amazing. They really help darken up black spots on your coloring, and they make it look a little shiny. I love how that, I don't know if the camera will pick that up. Come on, I don't know, can you kind of see that a little bit? It's a little shiny. Alright, let that dry while I Google their head. Sorry if I'm off camera a little bit. And then I'm going to take a white gel pen. They do make a white glaze pen, but I haven't had much luck with that working as well. I think the white gel pen actually works better than the white glaze pen. So there we go. So I have a top folding craft note card, and I'm going to put a red mat on top, and I'm going to glue my panel to the top of that. Up. Somebody's up from their nap. Oh, you want to help me finish up this card?
Okay.
Okay. And the last thing I'm going to do is I found these red rhinestones in my card.
A ladybug.
It is a ladybug. And I'm going to add, not to every dot up here, but on several of the seeds, I'm going to add a red accent. Well, there we go. That is card number 2. Hope you can see the embossing on that. That little ladybug. Alright, for card number 3, I've laid out my plan here. I cut a card base. This is 4 by 5.5, and I did that because I want the heart to hang off, just to add a little bit of interest. But in the background, what I want to do is stamp this daisy, just to kind of add some pattern. I wasn't able to get my hands on the background die that Hero Arts offered this month, so it was sold out by the time I looked at it. And this just adds a subtle background to the paper, breaking up the gray a little bit. And that's really all I want. I just want it to look soft and kind of whimsical. Okay, so there we have, and I'm not even sure the camera picks that up. Let's see if I can, just a light background of the daisies all over. And maybe what we'll do there's like small little spaces. Maybe we'll put a few ladybugs in the background, just a few. Fill in those gaps between the flowers. 2 more. Okay. And off camera, I colored this, and I even used washi tape to hold the dye down, but it's still shifted just a tiny bit, and I haven't decided what I'm going to do about that yet, because I don't like how there's so much white space on the side of her face. That's one of the reasons I don't know if you've watched videos before, I'm not a huge fan of dyes. I always just prefer to fussy cut things out, I guess, because just something always goes wrong, and after you've taken the time to color something, what a pain in the butt. All right, and so I might fussy cut her out and just kind of fill in the blanks here. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to stamp my sentiment, which I chose, sending happy fairy wishes your way. I'm going to white heat emboss that onto this card panel. Okay, so using the grid lines on my Misty, I just put the card base on top and I put glue on the back of my heart. And I'm going to use the grid lines to help me figure out where 4 1/4 is, so that my heart can hang off the side but still be adhered to my card. Okay, and I like this neutral look because I think the focus is then going to be on her fairy girl here. So, I don't know, guys, what do you think? Should I cut her out? So I think I am. I think I'm going to get my scissors out and I'm going to fussy cut her and then adhere her onto this card. So I'm going to adhere her down. I didn't fussy cut her out, but what I did was I went and I kind of tried to make the edges even around her, so at the top it wasn't so obvious that it cut poorly. Her wand still looks a little funny, but I'm going to add glitter, and I think that's going to cover up any huge issues. So I'm going to glue her on, and then I'm going to add some glitter to her wand. Mostly, I wasn't planning on this, but I'm doing it now to help fix mistakes. There's no mistakes in stamping, right? Just opportunities to embellish, so here we go. I was going to put glitter on her wings. So there we go. Okay, I like that. So there's card number 4, very neutral, but it keeps the focus on the fairy, which is what we want. Kind of neat the way that hangs off. And I have a little spot of glue here, but I'll find my eraser and that'll take that off. All right, for card number 4, I did a lot of the prep work already. On a piece of white cardstock, I stamped the Hero Arts. I can't think of the name of the set, but it's a wood, it's not a set, it's a stamp. It's a wood block stamp with this like flourish on it. If I can find the name, I will post it. But I stamped it onto a piece of cardstock that's 5 1/2 by 3 3/4, and I'm gonna glue that onto my card base, leaving a border on both sides. Then I'm going to lay this on top, which is a piece of vellum. I wasn't going to do this originally, but I realized that my focal point gets lost significantly on here. It's just too busy. So I like the way the vellum tones down that flourish, but I'm just going to lay it here for now. And I'm going to lay my sentiment strip. I'm going to stamp my sentiment on there. But then I'm going to glue down my mushroom, which I fussy cut out on here. Then I'm going to glue my fairy down. Okay, feel free to sing along to Bingo is his Nemo in the background. Trying to squeak these in. Now I'm going to glue down my strip of glitter cardstock, and I'm doing this all in an effort to try to glue the vellum down without having to use any fancy glue. And then behind, and I should probably do this beforehand I guess, is I'm going to put glue on the back of this. And then glue this down, and this way my glue is hidden, yet my vellum is secure. So I'm going to set this aside and let this dry a second, and then let's pick out a sentiment. I do like this saying. So using the Misty,
Boing, boing.
you're boing and boingy.
Boing, boing.
Alright. I'm going to use my scissors to create like a fishtail end to this. So I'm cutting halfway down the side and then to the corners. And now I'm going to glue this banner on here. I'm going to shorten it a little bit. Okay, I think that's an appropriate length. I'm noticing that a couple details, like my fishtail's off a little bit, so I'm going to see if I can clean this up. Decided I'm going to add a little bit of glitter to her wings. I think this will be complemented by the glitter strip on the side. Just a little bit of sparkle. Okay. And inside the kit came a Stardust pen, which these are awesome. And I'm just going to put little drops of glitter inside this wreath on top of her head, just to draw your attention to her first. Okay, and there we go, that's card number 4. Alright, for card number 5, I'm going to use a background stamp. It's just script. It's like not meant to be read, but it just kind of adds something to the card. And I'm hopefully going to stamp that in a really light blue. And what I'm going to do is I want to only stamp a section of my card. I'm going to use my Misty grid lines again. Alright, so I'm going to block this part off. I want only to stamp into the section that is open. So that's going to be my hope as I attempt to do this. So now I found a really, really light ink in my stash. This is Altenew Arctic. It's part of their layering series. I'm not using it in that way today, but I really wanted a really, really, really light blue is what I was going for. So I'm inking this up and hoping that we got that covered well enough. And I'm going to put my card. I wonder if there's an up or down to this. Probably not. Like, it's not meant to be read, but I'm going to take, I'm using the Post-it note, trying not to get ink on my fingers. I'm really focusing on just getting that area that I want kind of a pattern in. Oh cool, that is exactly what I was hoping for. Let me see, it's really, really light, but it definitely picked up the pattern. Alright, so I'm still going to leave this masked off, and now I'm going to take the dandelion stamps. And I'm going to use my block again for this because I just think these are pretty, they stamp pretty well and they're pretty easy. And I'm going to try this, and I think I'm going to do it on scrap paper first. This is another blue, but it's darker. Let me stamp. Yeah, perfect. That's kind of what I wanted. So now I'm going to stamp this over the top. And now I'm going to stamp the other one next to it. Kind of want to curve the other way though, so I'm going to bend it away. And then I'm going to stamp a few of those seeds kind of blowing in the wind as well. And I am going to pick different ones just so they don't all look the same. Maybe I'll stamp one half off, half on like that. Alright, I'm going to give this just a second to dry. Okay, so I put the panel into my mini Misty and I found the sentiment Deepest Sympathy. It's from My Favorite Things. I did grab my VersaFine because I really do want this to be a really nice black, and I want it to be red over all the stamping we just did because it is going to overlap. So we're going to stamp this down. I'm going to stamp it again. I think if I were to do this card again, I think I would stamp my sentiment first, or at least before I stamp the dandelions, because then I could kind of judge based on that. But it is visible. So now I'm going to pull my masks off. Set them aside. And I'm going to take this over to my scoreboard and I'm going to score a couple lines on here. Alright, so I took this over to my scoreboard and I scored 2 lines above and 2 lines below to kind of frame off our stamping. And then I'm taking a few of these gems from the kit. This is what came in the kit. They don't have holes in them, so they're not sequins. Not sure what they are. And I'm going to put just a drop of glue and drop a few of these on here just to accent this card a little bit. But I don't know, when I make sympathy cards, I like them to be simple. I don't know, I don't like a whole lot going on. So here we go, we've got some sequins. I like that stamping and that. The camera doesn't really pick up that text real well. I'm trying to figure out how to... Maybe it will come out in the photos. Maybe a little bit right there. Okay, but anyway, this is card number 5. And unfortunately, I'm out of time. Christmas for our family starts in just about an hour. So I need to pack everything up and go. So what I'm going to do is after we get home from our little Christmas tour, I will do the other 5 cards. So I'll post in 2 different groups this time versus all at once like I normally do. So I hope you enjoyed the first 5 cards, and I look forward to coming home and making the second 5. If you're seeing this before Christmas, happy holidays or Merry Christmas or Happy Hanukkah, whatever it is you celebrate. And thank you for watching.